Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We'll now go to the last bid award, the 2013-04 for 6,000 yards of caliche. Is that you, Martha? Good evening.
We received two bids, one being Mark Valdez and one being Pettingill Enterprises. We did put the bid out for crushed caliche. We used it in the past and it's really good stuff. Valdez came in at $2 per yard and Pettingill Enterprises came in at $3 per yard. But the differences on that is one is actually run through a crusher and the other one's just stockpiled with the loader. It's not run through a crusher. So the big difference is the material's a little different too. We've tried getting one from Valdez also, and it's got a little more sand base in it and, you know, smaller rock, round rock. But the one that we use from the crusher, we have several rows that we've already done with them, and they're still holding up to this day in Mountain Air area and stuff whatnot. I would like to see the one for the $3 go past today because it's a lot better material and it will withstand all elements, dry, snow, everything.
Have you, I don't want to debate about what crushed, means if it meets the specs on there. Have you had either one of these tested to see what you've had lab test them?
We have not tested the one from Valdez. The other one we had because we've used it on a stick project, and it comes out over the 100. So it compacts. Excellent.
Thank you, Martine. If I may, caliche is usually used mostly in my district, and I have seen that it has stood up to everything that you said: weather, use, people going slow, people going fast. I am extremely impressed with the quality of that particular product, and I would hate for us to change it at all. It's certainly worth the $3 per yard. I didn't know that it was being bid out. I know that we had talked about having to bid out when we needed to acquire caliche, and so with that, I certainly would encourage this commission to approve us awarding the bid to Pettingill Enterprises because it has been a material that we have finally found that has stood up to what we need in my district. And I will make that in the form of a motion.
Madam Chair, just to clarify, Joy, did we advertise specs for this material?
We advertised for 1 inch minus crushed caliche. That's what we were asked to do.
I would, so that there is not any question from either source, I would ask that we have samples brought from both pits and then have an independent lab test and ask them specifically which is the best and which one would hold up the most. And that way, when you go out for a bid, it's hard to say, we took a bid that was 33% higher on what we experienced. It seems like it leaves an avenue for the other bidder to come back and challenge it, and then we wind up having to buy 6,000 extra yards.
Yeah, well, we did put out for crushed material. We wanted it crushed caliche because that's what we use, and being cracked like that makes a big difference being round. And it holds a lot better in material. And Mr. Valdez, it's not going to be crushed. It's not going to be a crushed material.
So the bid said crushed?
It says for crushed caliche, yes.
But if it meets the specs, you can crush it through a cone crusher, you can crush it with the cleats of a bulldozer.
Is this
No,
material?
it's run through an actual crusher.
No, I'm talking about that. There's different definitions of crush. What I'm trying to say is that if both of them meet the specs, then we need to have an independent lab. If it doesn't meet the specs, then I have no problem. I know you said that one was sandier than the other one.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first time we've had to do this, and we're trying to do this now. We have till December to finish the projects before we have to send them in, so we're trying to get this as soon as possible, because it's gonna take a while to haul the material, so, you know, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that in the near future, I mean, starting from now on after this, but I mean, actually, we kinda need the material as soon as possible. We can start getting these projects done.
Well, I have another question in regards to having it tested. I know in the past, there is one road in my district that I believe the Valdezes may have donated material to us to see if we would be pleased with the quality, and we have that material on one road. So we could easily drive that road and then go drive another one of our roads that has this other product, and I believe that you would certainly see a huge difference in quality. But again, I think we should depend on legal, you know, to kind of steer us in the right direction, because I think what you're saying is accurate, but is that what we need to do
And
then?
to have them tested, we can have them tested, we take a 5-gallon bucket to each place and have them tested. It's gonna cost like $500 per place, I think, to have them tested.
I think it'd be money well spent to keep us out of any type of legality on it, especially, I would have no problem, Martine, if Valdez's bid was, close, or if Valdez's was even over. But I have a problem with spending 33% more, you know, without justification. And an independent justification.
Well, isn't the issue whether or not both bids meet the specs?
Yes,
So, do both bids meet the specs, Ricky?
Not to me, they don't. No. Because the Valdez one, like I said, it's a little more sandy, a little more grainy. It's not actually full caliche. It's got some in it, not quite as much. Of the Pettingill Enterprises pit, it's pure caliche with rock, and the rock's big, so they actually run all of it through a crusher to make it smaller, and it makes, it's the best stuff in this county we found so far.
So
And we've always used so.
is the term crush, is that a term that has a distinct definition to you?
Yes.
no,
To me, it does.
Well,
it does not. I mean, it depends on how they crush it, Martine.
So both Leonard and
You
I,
know,
when we put it in,
if you would have
we
said
should-
run through a cone crusher
Mhm.
and been more definite, then that would be. But when we just have a crush, but we have the specs, and I value your opinion, but when we go out for bid, I would rather keep our butts clear of.
Well, I understand what you're saying, you know, that's fine also, but I just hate to lose this funding for this project, so.
Well, it would only
If we don't get
take,
it done in time, maybe.
at the most, if we got the samples, and I'll run the samples,
Yeah, we can send out a sample, that's not a problem.
we can send them to Kiewit. That's great samples, they're independent. And we can have them tested, and then that way we have the justification. And all we simply have to do is just tell them if both of them meet the specs and everything, which is better. Is it 33% better?
Well, when you can only put material on a road, maybe every 10 years, 13 years, 33% to me is worth it, because
It's
I mean, you can ask anyone who drives my district, our roads are not paved. So we want the absolute best to last the absolute longest, because it's just imperative. We're not paving in District 3, but I see what you're saying. Commissioner Tapia, how do you stand on the issue?
Well, I'm going off of your expertise of what works, and as long as that's your opinion,
That's
and
my
you're not
opinion.
being told by somebody else that that's
my
what you're after. Once again, you've got the legalities of it, and I mean, I don't mind spending more for better product that's gonna last longer. I don't have a problem with that. But,
Martine, how did the specs
Yeah.
define crush?
that's,
I mean,
It, to me, it
did it
defines
just say
run.
crush? or
Yes,
did
it just said crushed gravel, that's what it said. Crushed caliche is what it said. One is mine is crushed caliche.
both understood exactly what that meant.
I believe, Sylvia, do we have a motion on the table? Okay, so either I'll call for a second, or my motion will die, and then I will call either or pass, or then if it dies, I'll call for another motion, and see what that motion is. So again, I'll reiterate that I would like to award the bid to Pettingill Enterprises Incorporated due to the quality of the material and that it has stood up to the test in District 3. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. At this time, I will ask all those in favor to say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Let the- Thank you. Let the record reflect that there are 2 in favor and 1 opposed. The motion does now pass.
Sure, we'll start getting all the pits, with testing.
If they meet the
That way they will
specs.
that way they will be on record, and all of them will have compaction records.
And just so we have a clear record, the bid just used the word crush, it didn't define, or define.
Thank you.